Welcome everybody to DisruptEDtv, where every little idea can make a big difference in your school. And today's little idea is simple and yet huge. And our guests today are James and Maxine Black. They're the founders, I think. Well, absolutely great guests, Joe. And you're the founders of the DeVan Group, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and DeVan Group is based in the Washington, D.C. area, but you work with schools all over the country. And in fact, all over the world. You can talk about that a little later on.
Yes.
And everything that these guys do is based on a wonderful, powerful question that even first graders can answer. And that's, tell me why I should believe in you. Do I have that right?
That's good.
Talk to me about the power of that question and what it leads to.
Well, nowadays we feel that young people need something greater than themselves, and that is to believe in themselves. We look around, we see all the challenges in our communities, in our schools, and this question just seems to pull out the best in these kids. That's what we found. And so just asking a first grader, give me a reason why I should believe in you. We have found some amazing responses. And so it's become it's become our signature starter sentence for our program. And it's just been a winner for us, and we're thankful for that.
So simplistic yet so important.
So, I mean, it's really wonderful.
Right.
So if nothing else, there could be a teacher out there watching DisruptEDtv who could take a student that might be going through some kind of a challenge and begin to turn them around with a question, tell me why I should believe in you.
Yes, and we find out repeatedly how surprised the kids are. What they write, and finally start giving it thought. Here are the reasons why I want you to believe in me. And I think that sparks a new beginning for them. Redefine their purpose, even in elementary. And so we find this working well.
That's really powerful. And Joe, we were talking before the program. What's exciting about this is that you take a child, and we're talking about children K through 12 and university level. You take a student, a learner, and you turn them into an author with a question like that. And they become a writer. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So, and you're a publishing company.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Tell me how students become writers.
So with our program, the activity, creative writing activity, we give the students to start a sentence, believe in me because, or there may be another sentence that we can give them. And once we give them that sentence, we ask them to give us a paragraph or a page of why we should believe in them. And after they write that paragraph or the page, then we publish it. Now we take at least maybe 200 written paragraphs from students from different schools, the same school with 200, and then we compile it together. And after we compile the 200 pages of what the students have written, then we turn it into a book.
Turn it into a book.
Yes.
And you've got examples of the book with you.
We have example of the book. This was done at a community center in Dallas, Texas. And this was various ages, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 10-year-olds. And they wrote half a paragraphs, why anyone should believe in them.
Believe in them.
Yes, your parents, your teachers, your friends, your grandma, anyone. Why should I believe in you? And that's what they wrote.
Wow, that's transformative. I think I can see it especially valuable for children, I think, who might be having a little trouble finding their way in life.
Yes.
And it's a very centering question. I think that's really the power of it.
Yes.
But you built a whole publishing model around it. That's what's interesting to me. So from the answer to that question, we become published material that you publish both in book form and online. Is that right?
Yes. The nice thing about it is that to see themselves as a bona fide author, there's actually a book signing event at the end of the process.
Media Day.
And yes, it's Media Day, Book Signing Day.
It's real.
And what we saw through the first pilot was people were in tears, these kids holding a copy of their book and their authorship certificate and saying, I'm an author for the first time in my life. And so it brings a lot of pride, builds self-esteem, and so we specifically publish towards that group. And so we may turn down a lot of other great opportunities, but our mission right now is towards students.
What is the turnaround time from when the idea is formed to when the book is actually published?
It's about 30 days.
30 days?
30
Really?
days.
So they get a quick,
Right.
immediate feedback
Yes.
pretty
Yes.
much on everything.
Yes.
So right away, their lives start to change around their answer to that question.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That is, that's terrific. And so tell me, what do you see? How does a learner change as a result of this?
I think one of the things I've observed is you take a child who had very little interest in academics, and what we found is that the question that usually comes at the end is, when can we do it again?
Oh, sure.
Well, we've already accomplished something. Here's a kid who was slow, and some of the testimonials we've had from teachers, kids who, when they finally see this book and they see themselves, their name listed as an author, all of a sudden they want to do it again.
Sure.
And we want to create that culture within our schools of a kid wanting to do an assignment again.
Absolutely.
You know,
Right.
and so that's the dynamic that we've seen. And of course, we have various starter sentences, so not just that one, but most kids, they want to do it again. And that's what we're finding.
It's the kind of homework a kid would want to do.
Yes,
I mean, a
yes.
kid wants to go home and write more
Yes.
because they get such a positive response from the first.
And the excitement and the joy that it brings to them, just they can't believe just that they've seen their name in print.
Mhm.
You know, that's my name. It's like Maxine Black. That's my name.
It's
Right.
my name.
And
that's
yes,
me.
I wrote that, and it brings so much excitement, as if they feel like they can do anything.
It's really,
You know, like-
when you can tap into somebody's pride and just make them proud of themselves, that's gotta create positive benefits in
Yes.
other courses as
Yes.
well. I mean, that makes them more interested in school in general, isn't that right?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Sense of accomplishment. Everybody wants a purpose and a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
It's a great way to do it.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes,
that's
yes.
terrific. Now, when we were talking before the program, you mentioned that the DeVan Group is really a publishing company. I mean, I was correcting myself too before the program, because I said, well, it's really kind of a creative writing literacy program, but it's not about spelling and grammar at all.
No,
Right.
I mean, spelling and grammar are not unimportant,
Right.
but it's the expression of what really makes you
Right.
special
that's right.
that you're really tapping into, and it's that energy that you're tapping into
Yes.
Yeah.
that makes the difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're coming up on a break. When we come back from the break, I want to talk about how the school could use this as a business model.
Okay.
That's
Absolutely.
great. So we'll be right back with James and Maxine Black here on DisruptEDtv in just a minute.
Good one.
Welcome back to DisruptEDtv, and thanks for rejoining a great conversation with two terrific guests, James and Maxine Black of the DeVan Group. And I'm just reading the book that we had a chance to show in the last segment. And we have a 7-year-old saying, believe in me because I like sports. I love my mom, my sisters, and my brothers. I love my mom because she takes care of me and my family. Believe in me, age 8, because I am very dependable and respectful. These are great stories.
Real
I mean, they're really
Yes.
terrific, and they're real stories from
stories,
7
absolutely.
and 8-year-olds. And you turn that into a book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And before the break, we started to talk about, I think it's important, first of all, schools should call you anywhere in the K-12 spectrum. Also, universities.
Yes.
Also, and keep in mind, it could be private schools, public
Yes.
schools, or charter schools.
Yes.
And you cost them nothing.
Nothing.
This
Zero.
is free. So this is an idea that a school could put to work right away, just by calling you, and you'll explain how they can do that a little later on. But
Yes.
they can put this idea to work in their school immediately, and they can even potentially make money with this.
Yes.
Yes.
Fill us in. This is
I'll
such
let
a
you
great
fill in.
idea.
Yes. Well, that's the exciting part about this whole thing, and that's where we feel our mission comes in. There are a lot of great ideas out there, there are a lot of great fundraisers out there, but there are a lot of risk out there. And schools don't usually have the funding to risk, take a chance on anything new.
Right.
And so we provide all the funding, we provide the staff. It's a seamless process. Even the letter that the principal sends to the parents, it's already written. He just copies and pastes
Okay.
and so
Really?
forth. So we're the initial investors in these kids. And so we don't want the school to take any responsibilities other than give it their full support to make it happen. And so
Yes.
we provide that, and then it's a 30-day process. And once we do all the editing, and so what you just read That's coming from the kids. We provide professional editors, so we want the school to be well represented and the kid well represented as well. But once that process is done, each student is responsible for getting 5 to 10 sponsors for the most part. The books are priced very inexpensive. There's no middle person. The great thing about being published is that there's no middle people.
That's right.
Okay, there's no middle people. So we can offer a 20% royalty based on nothing you've invested.
Right.
You just got the sponsors. We did the whole process. We did the publishing. We did the shipping. We handled everything, and you get 20% royalties on top of that.
There's no risk to the
And
school
so
whatsoever.
no
No
risk,
risk at all,
zero
right?
No
risk
risk.
whatsoever.
And look what they have to show the parents.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I mean,
yes, yes.
maybe you can
Yes.
talk about the effect this has on parents when they see their kids doing this.
Oh yes, and again, we're already getting those testimonials. I mean, Uncle Bubba is happy, Aunt Sue is happy, Grandma is happy, everyone's happy. And during the book signing process, at the end, you can't become a book up and author and have a new release and not have a book signing.
You gotta
That's right.
have
You
So
have to
at
have
the
a
end of
book
the
signing.
day, there's an event where they come at the end and we celebrate and so forth. The whole process is about 30 to 45 days. If you're a larger school, it could be 45 days in terms of the print volume and so forth. But the whole process is 30 to
days.
45 days. But it could be a huge economic burst for the schools.
And so
And that's
that
what
quick
we're there for.
turnaround time is really exciting for people too.
Well, that's
Yes.
important. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
if a
Yes.
school adopts this in January,
Yes.
they're up and running with something
Yes.
in February.
Yes.
February,
Spring-
yes.
spring-
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a great turnaround.
Yeah, and it only takes about a week to set everything up.
Okay.
Everything is web-based.
Everything's online.
And so they go to the website, they'll see their page for their school, their logo, and to add credibility to this, because we want to be transparent, with the counting of the sales and the sponsors, there's a counter on their site.
On the website.
Oh, great.
So they can know exactly how
Really
many
business
purchases are
model.
being
That's
made,
right.
so you know exactly what your percentage is going to be at the very end, 2 weeks into this thing.
Yes,
And
they know
more
what's
importantly
happening.
too, I mean, you can explain to the sponsors exactly where their money is going. So there's no
Exactly.
question about this being
Absolutely.
Right.
for
Yeah.
the students.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really for the
Yeah.
students, and I think that's just, that's wonderful.
Wish I was a 7-year-old. This sounds
Yeah,
really
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Yeah, it does, and at the university level, is it much different when you're dealing with a child who might be, let's say, 14, 15, 16? Do you see much of a difference? I know the content would be different, but what
Right.
about the effect?
I think the effect is the same as far as them taking pride into something they've accomplished, something they've created. This
Right.
is theirs. They're an author. You don't think necessarily about being an author when you're in elementary on up to university. All you're thinking is, I need to get my work done. I have to do this. I have to do this. This is for graduation. I have to, and we come along and say, wait, in that process, in the middle, in between, you can become an author. And
Really?
this can go on your resume.
Wow,
So-
that is terrific. I mean,
Homework
that's-
side we really like to have done.
Yeah.
And that's the huge piece for college and high school and university
Yes.
level. They're trying to build that resume early.
Sure.
Yes.
And we also get references for those applying for scholarships. You'd be surprised how many scholarships are available for good writers
Yes.
and so forth. So we give the verification when people call to say, is this actually the case? Every certificate has a certification number on it. So this is no fluke of a situation.
Wow.
It's all well managed, and we back everything up that these kids
Yes.
do.
Wow, that's terrific. And students pick this up quickly, I guess, right?
Yes,
There isn't a whole
yes,
lot of,
yes,
you
yes.
ask the question, they start writing.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
don't care about the grammatic quality of the answer.
No.
What you care is the sincerity
The
of the answer.
sincerity,
That's what you
yes,
care about.
content,
absolutely.
yes,
Wow,
yes.
that is just, sometimes it's the simplest ideas that make the biggest difference. And this is a classic example of that. I think that's just so,
And
I'm
we
gonna
don't,
say great over and over again.
when the students write, we don't want to change their content. We don't do that.
No.
We want everything they say to come across as they say it, how they say it, how they feel it.
Right.
Right.
So we don't change that.
You know, we keep saying how in business, it's very important that we get students graduating into business who know how to write.
Right.
But there's a quantum leap here between knowing how to write and being an author.
Right.
I mean, really, being the kind of person who just doesn't write things, but
Right.
actually expresses things that make a
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
Right, right.
And that's what you're really pulling out of the students that
Yeah.
participate in this program. Is that right?
Yes, and we're already providing that consultation to them. Once you become part of our network, a former student calls and says, "Hey, I want to write a book now. Can you give me some counsel?" Well, these are our people. You know, no, we want you to become successful at this, so we will guide you through the process. You don't have to use our publishing company. We want you to become a successful writer. And some of them are in the writing proposals, writing contracts, attorneys who are doing various things and so forth. So we become a lifelong partner
That's
of
right.
whatever it is when it comes to writing and creative writing and thinking. We become your lifelong
Yeah.
partner and
So
support.
we-
Partner, and that's it, and
Right.
that's, how large a staff do you have? Well, we have to, I'll tell you what, we have to take a break.
Okay.
But I wanna know more about how you
Okay.
can scale up,
Gotcha.
and what if we got
Gotcha.
100 schools to call you?
Gotcha.
Now, when we come back after this break, we'll talk more with James and Maxine Black about a terrific idea, Believe in Me Because, and the DeVan Group.
Gotcha.
We'll be right back. Thank you. This is Maxine. Welcome back, everybody, to DisruptEDtv. My name is Al Cini,
My name is Joe Osamendi.
and boy, are we lucky today because we've got two great guests with us, James and Maxine Black of the DeVan Group.
Yes.
And just before the break and over the break, we were talking about, this is something every one of the 3 million teachers in the United States ought to know about.
Yes.
Indeed.
But what if they all called you, and how would you scale up to meet demand? And you
Yes.
started to describe that. Maybe
Yeah.
you could talk about that.
Well, first of all, we hope they don't all call at the same time.
Okay.
But
do call.
do call. That's the main thing. Call. But we have an awesome network. We have the same model for each region around the country: Canada, Australia, UK, and France. We've been so busy we haven't gotten quite into Australia yet, so we've
Okay.
just been concentrating on the U.S. and Canada. But for the most part, there's a project manager in various regions. We have a perfect editorial network of copy editors.
Yes.
We actually provide a quiz that our editors have to pass in order to become an editor with our company.
Really?
Okay,
Yes.
so we want the best there is out there. We have the best graphic designers. The schools have to agree to what the cover looks like before we begin the project.
Okay.
So they know
So
what
they
the
get
book
a
looks
sample.
like before we even start. And so with those networks, we just duplicate those in the various regions, and we manage that in that region. We have accounts with various print factories around the country, and most of our print factories are all award-winning printers, and we do the best work and so forth. That's why we brought samples here to show the quality of our work.
You know, it's great. You can,
Even what
you
the
can see
paper
that.
looks like is
This
important.
beautiful.
and
It's
so
a beautiful
forth.
product.
So we're built for demand.
Yeah, you have a continuous ability to have quality.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
That's
good.
that's the
Consistent
constant,
quality.
the
Yes,
quality
yes,
model is
yes,
very
yes.
important, I think,
Absolutely.
because that product has to be
Yeah.
professional.
Yes, yes,
Or
yes.
the learner isn't gonna feel like a
Yes.
professional
Right.
author. They have to really feel like they
Yes,
wrote the
exactly.
book.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what a book is.
Yeah.
So,
And we-
so where do you see all this headed?
Where's it going?
Wow, we have so many initiatives stemming from this particular activity that we want to get other students involved in these other initiatives. And what are some of the initiatives that, with the spelling bee and the oratorical contest and the
Yeah.
scholarships
Yeah.
that we have to offer?
Yeah. We see this initiative as a step towards something even greater.
Okay.
We just want to elevate young people. You can have them write about why we should believe in them, but if we don't believe in them, then what difference does it make?
Right.
And so we want to provide, I'll give you one example of what we're looking at for 2019, the school year 2019-2020, is having a national oratorical event that's scholarship-based. But it's a different kind, it's a thinking on your feet kind of oratorical,
Okay.
where you don't have to memorize the same speech to get through various levels, but you might be before a panel, you ask a question, once again, and you got to articulate for 5 minutes. So forth. That'll be a national competition at the National Harbor there in DC and so
Yes.
forth. And this is pulling from our network of students from elementary through university, different
Okay.
categories. First place on that would be a $50,000 scholarship, which would be the highest in the country.
Really?
Even the national spelling bee right now, first place is 40,000. We're gonna go 50,000. If we're making the revenue and so forth, we want to give it back. This is not about fattening us. Our goal is we want to do things in the community for all areas of education, all public, private, charter, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's the beauty of this, is that we become the common denominator for all of these institutions, and a one-shop place where they can all come together and enjoy an event. And that's just one of many.
Okay.
That's just one of
The
many.
best ideas in education are ideas like this that create a larger community.
Yes,
Not
yes.
just schools, but
Right.
businesses and
Yes.
families
Right.
and
Yes.
civic leaders. I mean,
Yes.
those are, the larger you make that community, I think the more effective
Yes.
education becomes. And this is
Yeah.
a great way to do it. And it all starts with a phone call or an email to you. Is that
That's
right?
it, that's it. I wanted to say that this does not only affect students, because students live in a community.
Right.
So it affects the community
It affects the community,
worldwide.
influences the community,
Yes.
makes it a better place.
Yes, so it's far-reaching. It
Sure.
just doesn't stay closed up. It reaches far out to whomever will
It's one of those little
grasp.
pebbles in a pot
Yes,
of education.
it ripples.
That ripples everywhere. And I
Yes.
think that's, and everybody, the people that are watching our program right now can do this.
Yes.
The engagement starts by contacting, I mean, you're gonna get to say
Yes.
how to reach you by email and by
Yes.
phone.
Yes.
But it just starts with something as simple as a telephone call. And then
Yes.
after that, it can get as big as you want it to get.
Yes.
At no cost to you.
No cost to
And
the
no
school
risk.
and no
And
risk.
no risk. I mean, there's really no downside to
No.
this. That is just so
Fantastic.
exciting.
And we want the schools to know that the book is customized to their school.
That was the
So,
point I wanted to bring
yes.
up, because I think that's important. As you said, they get to approve in advance
Right.
what the cover is gonna look like,
Yes.
what the book is gonna look like, and you won't even start the project until we have a clear understanding what it is the product is gonna look like.
That's correct.
That's correct.
So that's, and they get complete say on that.
Yes, because we have to, we send a proposal out to them,
Mhm.
and it has to be signed.
Okay.
And
Wow,
within
yes.
that proposal, you'll see a copy of what your book cover will look like.
Wow.
So we want to get it all together so they can see it. And then they can say, well, I would like to add this or delete that. So we want them up front to know what they're going to get.
Exactly what they're heading
Yes.
into before they get started. And
Yes.
even at that, the whole turnaround time is 30 days.
30
Yes.
days.
They take total ownership of the
That
project.
is,
Yes.
how many schools are you in right now?
Right now,
Let
we're
me
in
count.
about 7, 8 states.
Mhm.
And what our goal has been is to establish a pivot in every state. So we're only doing pilots in every state. We're not going for the number of schools, because that particular school in that particular state becomes our resume.
Right,
And
okay.
so forth. So
Uh-huh.
the 12 to 13 schools we're dealing with right now are becoming our resume for those areas.
Yes.
For those
And as
areas.
word is getting out, it's expanding from there. So this first semester, we purposely did not try to go overboard with, 100 schools.
Mhm.
We want to
Right.
become good at what we're doing. This has been a pilot year.
Okay.
And so for that reason, we've minimized the number. Now, this next semester, we'll probably have over 100 schools. It's going to be a crazy
Yeah.
semester.
That's,
Yeah.
that'll be.
It's going to
Yeah.
be crazy.
Yeah, because we just had a student to call us
Mhm.
from one of the schools in Virginia.
Mhm.
And it was, we sent a letter out for a scholarship.
Mhm.
And to the student body president and to the senior class president.
Right.
Mhm.
We want these kids to know that, listen, we are serious. We're serious about you. We're serious about your education. We want to see you go further. So
Right.
we're offering this particular scholarship. And this person called us, a student body president, and he was excited.
Really?
He wanted to know more. He
Oh.
said, we want to do this. What do we need to do? We just have to talk to administrator and just get this going.
So students can bring this into their.
Yes.
And
Yes,
you've
yes.
gotten some
Yes.
enthusiasm,
Yes.
just from students who
Yes.
told their schools, we need to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exciting when
Yes.
it comes from, that's where it comes from, that's where the
Yes.
energy is, that's
Yes.
really
That's
great.
even neat. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Isn't that terrific?
That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
wonderful.
We're coming up on that part of our program where you get to tell everybody how to reach you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
James, Maxine Black, what a wonderful story you had to tell.
Thank you.
Look right into your camera, it's that camera right over there, and tell everybody how to reach you and
It's right there.
how you can help them.
Well, this is the DeVan Group. And to reach us, we just ask that you go to our website, thedevangroup.com, and there's a button on there to request consultation. Once you request consultation, we will contact you immediately and send you a sample proposal so you see all the particulars, know what it is, answer all your questions, and then the next step is
We start to implement the process of your students becoming authors.
yeah.
And once again, our website is www.thedevangroup.com. And our telephone number is 240-232-6105. We're waiting to hear from you, so call us now. We'll answer our phones, okay?
Yeah. I kind of got messed up at the end there. I was trying to actually proposal from sample proposal. I kind of lost it at the end, but
You're
she
doing fine.
took care of it. That's why we're partners in this thing.
You guys are quite a team, and it was such a pleasure to have you on our
Thank
program
you.
today.
Our
Maxine,
pleasure.
James,
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our
James
pleasure.
and Maxine Black from the DeVan Group, terrific disruptive idea, you should call them. Any one of the ideas they can offer can make a huge number of differences,
Right.
changes, positive changes in your
Yes.
school.
Wonderful.
Thank you for joining us today on DisruptEDtv. My name is
I'm
Alcini,
still Joe Osamendi.
and we hope you'll join us again.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
See you
you.
next time.
Thank you. Yes.